They start with a vivid, deeply personal vision for their future. It feels like the truest version of who they are. Over time, fueled by love or obligation, they surrender that vision, letting someone else's expectations freeze their own ambitions. There is rarely a single cinematic moment where a person sits down and decides to abandon everything they ever wanted. The process is much quieter. It happens in a series of micro-surrenders. It starts when a 14-year-old mentions wanting to be a musician, watches their father's face fall, and decides to simply never bring it up again. 3 years later, that same teenager fills out college applications and checks the box for engineering. The alternative conversation, explaining why they want to study art, feels too tense to even initiate. Then, at 22, they get a job offer in a field they never wanted. They take it because their parents cry with happiness, and it feels impossible to take that joy away from people who sacrificed for them. After 1,000 small choices to prioritize someone else's comfort over your own truth, you eventually look up and realize the life you are living belongs to a different person. In many cultures, parents work themselves to exhaustion. They go without basic comforts and carry the intense weight of the family's financial security for decades, all to ensure their children have a stable future. Psychologists call this filial piety, the cultural expectation that children owe their parents obedience, respect, and the fulfillment of their dreams. In many families, this is not even spoken out loud, it is simply understood. The psychological cost of abandoning your dreams for someone else manifests in specific, destructive patterns. The first symptom is a quiet, hidden resentment. This bitterness lives underneath the surface and is separate from the genuine love they still feel for their parents. Unable to express it directly, this resentment leaks out. It manifests as unexplained irritability or a persistent, heavy emotional numbness in their day-to-day routine. The second symptom is a profound disconnection. They go to work every day as highly competent actors, performing a hollow role. By external measures, they are successful, but they feel like strangers in their own lives. The third symptom is perhaps the most tragic. After years of suppressing what they want, their imagination atrophies. They completely lose the ability to dream. If you ask them what they actually desire for themselves, they draw a blank. The original ambition has faded beyond the point of postponement. It has simply vanished from their mind. And finally, there are the chronic late-night hauntings. At 3 a.m, they lie awake obsessing over the unstarted business, the unplayed music, and the ghost of the person they could have become. Living out a parent's dream risks more than professional boredom. It facilitates the slow, silent erosion of the authentic self. For many, there is a turning point, often in their 30s or 40s. The dissonance between the life they are living and the life they were meant to live simply becomes impossible to ignore. They start reclaiming pieces of themselves through small, secretive acts, taking a weekend painting class, starting an anonymous blog, or drafting a secret business plan. Pursuing these dormant passions reflects the human need to live a life that is authentically yours. Self-actualization and familial devotion are not mutually exclusive. You can honor everything your parents gave you, while still stepping out of the gray office and onto your own warmly lit stage. Both things can be true. If you gave up your dream for your parents and are carrying that weight right now, you need to add yourself back into the equation. It is never too late to begin again. And if you are a parent, your child's independent dream is an expression of their own identity, rather than a rejection of your guidance. It is the ultimate culmination of the life you worked so hard to give them. A parent's sacrifice finds its greatest reward in their child's genuine happiness, a state that carries far more value than mere financial stability.